Former Arizona Cardinals legend Tyron Mathieu took it to an exclusive interview on Casino Beats and ended up saying that Kyler Murray has a destination in his mind that he should be going to, and it might not be what you suspect. Let's go and dive right into exactly what Tyron Mathieu ended up saying. Let's dive right into it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into another video. Definitely do me a huge favor, smack up that like button and subscribe for more Arizona Cardinals content on this channel. We're covering the Arizona Cardinals news, breaking news, conversational pieces, everything surrounding your favorite team. And we're on the road to 19K. Cannot do it without you guys, so make sure you subscribe it up. It's absolutely for free. But today, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about Tyron Mathieu going on an exclusive interview with CasinoBeats.com and talking all things, obviously, what he's doing, how he's feeling about things in the NFL, but we want to really focus on, obviously, the Kyler Murray section. It's the big talking point right now going around with the Arizona Cardinals world. Is he going to be the quarterback for the Cardinals in 2026, or are we going to be finding a new quarterback via draft or free agency? It's the talk of the town. As of right now, we are just kind of waiting for the brutal death of this season to end. We all wanted to simulate to the end. And on top of that, we got the Buccaneers this weekend, and they're looking for a win. It's brutal. And on top of that, I'm not sure if you guys already heard this, but Jonathan Gannon ended up coming out earlier this morning and saying that Walter Nolan, rookie 16th overall pick for the Arizona Cardinals, has already been ruled out. So it's just one bad news after the other for Arizona Cardinal fans. We are not in a good state right now, so make sure you check on your Arizona Cardinal fans, friends out there, if you have any. But yeah, it's brutal right now. Walter Nolan ain't going to be there, and we don't really know exactly if Will Johnson's second round pick is going to be out there either. So right now, TBD. But let's dive right into exactly what we ended up seeing here from Tyron Mathieu. Ended up saying pretty much in a nutshell that he feels like the best, or I guess suitable spot for Kyler Murray is going to be the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, interesting. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, there has been some subscribers come out here and tell me that Miami Dolphins can very well be a spot for them that they think that Kyler Murray can go to. Now, the weapons that they have, I could agree. Like seems to be kind of a place where you got Mike McDaniel, right? An offensive guru that can potentially unlock Kyler Murray. That's fair. Now, we don't really know exactly the future of Tyreek. We don't know the future of Mike McDaniels. We don't know any of these things, right? So a lot of things as of right now, while we're recording this video on late November, it could be a perfect spot. But come December, they might blow that bad boy up. Like they might blow that whole that organization up, especially in the offensive side of the ball. There might not be a Tyreek. There might not be a Mike McDaniel over there. And Tua. People always forget that Tua Tagovailoa has signed a recent deal that has made him, $212.4 million richer, or like a contract that was worth that much. Now, obviously, not a lot of that is guaranteed, but they just signed him to a long-term deal. So, like, for the people out there that are saying that Miami might be a suitable option for him, I'm not going to rule it out, but I do think that another spot can very well be the Vikings, the Raiders, the Jets, right? There's the Steelers, right? There's other teams that I feel like are in more of a situation that can hold onto a quarterback that is young still, right? That still kind of has a dynamic name out there. But I want to kind of dive right into exactly what he said in this article. Now, like I said, again, shout out here to Casino Beats. This is the where we ended up seeing this specific exclusive interview with Tyron and Casino Beats, and we're going to be diving into this now. We're going to read a good portion of this article. If you want to go ahead and read the whole thing, make sure that you check out CasinoBeats.com, and it will be on their website. But let's go and dive right into it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and talk about this exclusive interview and what he said. So he's saying this: Mathieu, Murray would be a good fit with the Dolphins. So let's dive into it. When asked of possible destinations where he could see it working from a schematic standpoint, Mathieu mentioned the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins certainly have a talent cast of playmakers in Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane, as well as Darren Waller. They also have one of the best offensive minds in Mike McDaniel, assuming he retains his head coaching position past the season. I'm glad they actually mentioned it, because honestly, I don't think he does. I think what's going on in that organization, there might be a shift. And then Tyreek Hill, we don't know if he's coming back either. Like, there's a lot of unknown from that organization. However, They are also locked in by contract with their own franchise quarterback in Tua, who has also faced his own struggles this season. The Dolphins signed Tua to a 4-year, $212.4 million contract before the start of the 2024 season. It's been hard for the Dolphins to move off of that, but Matthew believes Murray would be a good fit for Miami. Okay, that's fair. I respect it. Good talent, offensive mind head coach. As of right now, while we're recording it, it does make sense. And this is what Tyron Mathieu ended up having to say. Quote, "He's so dynamic," says Mathieu of Murray. Quote, "I think at the quarterback position, it's hard to find those guys that can kind of do it all. For him, a great team. I can see him with Miami, one of those type of teams. Those relationships are kind of hard to judge sometimes because I don't know what Kyler particularly needs, but I think a change of scenery is for sure needed." End quote. I agree. I think a lot of people can agree with that sentiment that Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals need to kind of come to a divorce. Now, of course, there is going to be a portion of Cardinal fans that do not want to let go of the Kyler Murray era, and they want to stick with it because of what they see as a quarterback carousel between Warner as well as Palmer. But you also got to keep in mind those Skelton, Anderson, not Leinart, Hall, right? All those guys that were between Warner and Palmer, they were all like third, fourth, fifth round picks. Like they weren't first round talented guys. Now the Cardinals have drafted three first round guys in the 2000s: Liner, Murray, and Rosen. Is Murray the best out of all of them? Yes, he is. But at the end of the day, you still got to strive for better, right? You got to strive to get that guy for you. And right now, you've given Murray 7 years, and it hasn't really worked out. I feel like it's best to kind of start breaking apart from the marriage that we put ourselves in a few years back. Now, let's continue. It wouldn't be unheard of for Murray to revive his career elsewhere. Now, let's be real. The big thing that's happening right now, because this is a copycat league, a lot of people are saying that the new hot commodity is you get a quarterback that's a veteran and you revive his career. Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, etc. Right? Let's keep it going. Daniel Jones has done that this season with the Indianapolis Colts after hitting rock bottom with the New York Giants. Sam Darnold has experienced a similar career renaissance over the past 2 seasons with the Seattle Seahawks and the Minnesota Vikings. Quote, "Yeah, absolutely," says Mathieu, about whether he can see Murray have a revival elsewhere. It's all about the coach, too. I think in this league, the team that they have, the head coach and the quarterback have a great relationship. Those teams are usually the most successful, and you really want to see him go to a team that really believes in him, that understands him, end quote. Let me kind of talk about that real quick. I've seen a lot of Cardinal fans. There might be the Kyler Murray stands that are saying this, but they're saying that the Arizona Cardinals failed Kyler. I don't believe that. I really don't. I think they both failed each other. If you want to put it in the who failed who, I think they both failed each other at the end of the day. Kyler wasn't able to give us playoff wins. He wasn't able to give us consistency. And on the other side of the coin, the Cardinals organization was not able to be smart enough to put the right pieces around Kyler to be successful. Kyler Murray isn't top 10. He's a mid quarterback, 15, 16, which isn't bad. You can win a Super Bowl with those type of guys, but the Cardinals didn't do that. But also, it's on both sides of the coin. I just think at the end of the day, it didn't work, and it's okay to come to that conclusion. Murray hopefully can revive his career somewhere else, and the Cardinals can start thinking about getting a quarterback that's not expensive and start building around that quarterback to not have to pay a guy $45+ million to be that guy that we know that Kyler Murray isn't, right? So let's do that. And then also on the coaching side of it all, right? The Jonathan Gannon thing, do I believe he needs to be the coach in 2026 or that he should be the coach in 2026? I don't. I think the Cardinals should move off, rip everything off like a Band-Aid, and kind of move off and start off fresh. That's what I believe. What will the Cardinals do? That's up to them. But I do believe, for what it's worth, that Jonathan Gannon and Monty Osborne and his regime has bent over backwards for Kyler. I do. They went over to his statue reveal. They didn't move off of him when he only won, 3 games when he came back, and we all kind of blamed it on the footwork, right? Only won 3 games. And then on top of that, the crashing and burning at the second year at the end of, and that's not all him. I get that, but they stood by his side for as much as they possibly could. In fact, that now people are saying that Jonathan Gannon tied his career to Kyler, which now they want Jonathan Gannon fired, including AKA me. So yeah, I think this regime bent over backwards for him. I really do. So I don't agree with that. I think they had a really good relationship, but at the end of the day, you got to know when to kind of split it up. And I think right now they finally came to that conclusion when they essentially placed him on IR and chose Jacoby Brissett over Kyler. Whether you believe it didn't happen or not, that's kind of how it all shook out. Let's keep it going. Assuming they move on from Murray, the Cardinals may be in the hunt for a quarterback in this next year's draft. However, Mathieu isn't sure who the Cardinals or other teams should target at the top of the draft, considering the previous highly regarded prospects such as Arch Manning have fizzled. I agree. Arch Manning, I don't think it was ever going to come out in this year's draft. I think it was always going to be 2027, but I could be wrong. But Drew Aller, Nussmeier, Klubnik, all these guys that were supposed to be the top, creme de la creme, their seasons haven't worked out to their to make them a first round pick. Let's be real. But you got guys like Fernando Mendoza, you got guys like Ty Simpson, Dante Moore. If he declares, there is guys that the Cardinals could potentially look after if they go to that direction. But the Klubniks, the Nussmeyers, the Allers of the world, they have not shaken out. And let's be real, what we thought was going to be a really good quarterback draft class this year is not. Now let's move on over to the last section here. I say the guys that I had. You talked about the kid from Penn State, Drew Aller, and Arch Manning. I still feel like these guys need another year or so, says Mathieu, of the 2026 quarterback class. That's kind of tough to tell because a lot of the guys I had in mind, they didn't really start the season the way that we wanted. I think everybody's kind of rearranging their top 10 quarterback class. I agree. 100% agree. I think that, like I mentioned before, it's not the best quarterback class on paper that we all thought it was going to be. And I'm talking about the whole Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, that draft. Everybody thought that was going to be the best quarterback class. A year or two ago, people thought that this class was going to be that same. It didn't shake out that way, right? So, but you still got some really, really good, talented people out there. So, to kind of go back to what Tyron Mathieu ended up having to say about, him going over to the Miami Dolphins, I think it's a possibility. I don't think it's realistic. I think Tua Tagovailoa, at least for another year or two, is with them. They just signed that extension. Now, of course, if an owner wants to move off, they can do that as long as they fork over the money and they're willing to take a hit. But at the end of the day, we're going to have to kind of wait and see how it all shakes out. But I do not think Kyler Murray is going to be suiting up in an Arizona Cardinal uniform in 2026. I could be wrong. But I think the trajectory is forcing to a potential divorce, a mutual divorce, but I think it's fresh, or it's going to be good to have a fresh start for Kyler and a fresh start for the Arizona Cardinals to kind of move forward and see where we go from there. But ladies and gentlemen, let me know your overall thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you for tuning in as always. Have a great rest of your day and go Cardinals.